Okay.
Really who?
Yeah, if you're multi.
Hey, that's happened to me before.
Like, I was so sorry.
Alright, next. Let me get rid of this. Alright, here's the last thing we're going to do today.
I hear it.
Yeah.
It'll take like 5 seconds. My mouth's on fire.
Okay. Hey, real quick. Practice semester test. Have it out right now. Goal today. I want to do the next few problems on this. Now, last week we talked about 1 and 2. That was last Tuesday. On Wednesday we did 3 and 4. Thursday we did 5 and 6. And we talked about on number 6 that this instruction will change on number 6 because I have to put a race question in the semester test. And we talked about how I'm going to do that is I'll basically just put this in terms of a sentence, and I'll say, hey, how much would this person pay in terms of total for their car? Explain why. So it'll make it a race question. It's the same question. You just have to write it in sentence format. Does that make sense? I have to do it. Every class has to do a race question. I just thought, we'll just take a normal problem. I'll just change it to a race question. So you just have to write it in words instead of just showing me a bunch of words. Okay, but you still have to tell me that you're going to multiply the price and interest rate in years, add that price in, that's your total expense for the car. You can even find monthly payments divided by how many months there were in 6 years. Okay, but again, I'm clearly warning you, this will be a race question, number 6. Okay, you've been clearly warned, I have to change it, every class has to do it, I'm just modifying that one to make sure that exact same style of problem. It's not going to be different, it's going to be the same, you just have to explain it in words, not just a bunch of answers.
Same exact problem?
Same stuff, yeah. What I'll do is I'll just change the percent, and I'll change that. Okay, alright. 7. Okay, goal today. Obviously we're starting with 7. We gotta work our way to the bottom. So the idea is that on this practice guide, there is a total of 11 questions. My goal today is to do 7, 8, and 9, and then tomorrow we can look at 10, 11. Now, if you want, we can even stop after number 8, or after number 8 if you want today, if you need to get working on something else. But my goal is to do about 2 or 3 today, do 2 or 3 tomorrow, talk about it. Now, I did warn you, semester test is tentatively set for Wednesday this week. Question? Oh, I slipped it. Okay. Alright, so, here's the idea. Okay, after we're done here, on Wednesday, I have tentatively set the semester test for Wednesday. Now, if you guys want, and this is up to you guys, but it has to be a unanimous decision, and we'll take this decision tomorrow. If we want to have the test Thursday instead, it'll be a unanimous decision tomorrow, and I'll let you guys vote on it. Now, it's got to be everyone voting for it, because maybe there's people in here that have 9 tests on Thursday and they don't want an extra one. So if you want, we'll take a vote tomorrow. Now, what that means is what we would do on Wednesday is we'd practice questions you don't know, and we'd practice race car questions. I call them race car, but I'd practice those types of things on Wednesday.
Let's play relevant.
That way you can figure out if you need it. Okay, but that's if you want. Now, if you don't want to take it on Thursday, we'll take it Wednesday, and we'll just do the review, like open questions, review stuff. We'll do that tomorrow as well. But I need to kind of know, and that's got to be like the first thing we do tomorrow morning, so I know what type of review we're going to do. Does that make sense? Okay, let's start with 7, and let's move on. All right, so 7. Okay, Lindsay lives in a high-risk environment. Hey, I can't talk over top people, and I can't hear it. So. Okay, we ready?
Yep.
Okay, Lindsay lives in a high-risk environment, so that means I have to use the high-risk stuff. So she's only using this row. Keep that in mind. The first sentence, you need to know what risk she's at. She's at high risk. She wants the 40/80 coverage for her personal, and then she wants property damage to be at 50, this one. So those are the two numbers I'm using. But again, you have to know which risk level you're at. This is the number one question people missed on this previous chapter, I think it was chapter 5 test, because no one wanted to look at what risk they were at. They just picked the random numbers from the chart. You're at high risk, 40/80, 50 coverage. Again, this is personal, others, and property. That's how this system's working. I think this is like a, this is what State Farm and other major insurance companies are doing. Now, what I have to do first.
Chapter 1. What?
Okay, first thing, we have to add these up. What do we get?
758.
What is it?
758.
Okay, 758. That's adding up your two insurances, your 40/80 coverage with the 50 coverage. Now, since she's getting charged, she's still young, maybe she's at higher risk, so they have a factor of 1.29. You have to multiply that on your price. Whatever this factor is, you have to multiply it. Now, the factors change. Males have higher factor numbers, females typically have lower, unless they're at higher risk, and then it's usually kind of balanced. But you have to multiply that on the 758. That'll be your total in the end. Okay? Alright, questions at all about number 7, what you're going to do? I'm not going to finish that one, you're going to have to finish it on your own. So you're going to have to type that in your calculator and figure it out. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, are we good with number 7? 8.
8 too.
Student number 8. Again, what I would expect tomorrow, or sorry, Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day we take the semester test, because you guys are going to vote on that tomorrow. That chart will be there, it'll just be a different person with a different risk factor in a different environment. Alright, here we go. 8. This is one that a lot of people did not pay attention when we went through it in the review day, and they didn't know how to do the numbers correctly on the parts and fix it. Okay, so here's what we need to do. Number 1. We need to add up all the parts together and then charge tax on the parts. We do not tax the labor that's involved here. We only tax the parts. So if you accidentally in the end added up your labor with the parts and then you tried to take taxing on it, you just got it wrong. So here's how it works. We have to add these 4 numbers together. Now, I will clearly warn you if you're buying multiple items this week. Like, oh, you're buying 2 quarts of oil and 3 spark plugs and 4 belts. I will clearly warn you how many of those items you're buying. The big thing is if you're buying multiple items, you have to add that price multiple times. So if you're buying a spark plug and you're buying 3 of them, fine, you have 3 of those prices added in. Okay, in this case, I'm only buying 1 of each. Okay, so I'm buying oil, the fan belt, so we add these up. What is that total? Say that again? 215.49. Alright. So, this is adding up all the parts. Double check that the math is correct, adding up just the parts themselves. Okay, we're confirming it is. Alright, next. We have to charge tax. Tax on this particular station, what state we're in, we're 7% tax on this. It's written up here. So, what you have to do, and this is my shortcut, multiply by 1.07. What this will do is it will automatically add your tax back in for you.
268.26.
Okay, 268.26. Okay, thank you for those.
Oh, 2.
Oh, 2 cents, thank you. Oh, 2. Thank you. Alright, is that right? Okay. The last step.
Freshman or sophomore, Jamie from Athletico is here. If you teacher, please go down to the training room at this time.
Alright. Okay. Okay, real quick. So we have 268.02. The last thing we have to do is we have to add in all the labor last. The labor is last. We don't tax labor. You only tax like actual produced parts. So the idea is that we're working 1.6 hours. So notice that this is already a decimal. That's perfect. We want it in decimal. If it's 2.5 hours, 2.5. And if it was a quarter, it's 2.25. Okay, we take this and we multiply by what they charge you per hour. They're charging me $45 per hour. 72 bucks. Okay. So here's my labor. This is labor. This was parts. Okay, good. The last step is you add those two numbers together. They're separate. You only tax the parts. Does everyone feel comfortable with the shortcut for taxing? 1.07. If it was 5%, 1.05. Be careful. I will clearly warn you if that tax rate changes, because it just depends on the state.
He goes, why do you like yelling at me? You remind me of my brother.
All right, now, here's my question to you guys. Do you want to go on to number 9 or just stop at 8 today? Stopping
I
at 8.
already did it.
Great. We're going to stop at 8. We'll continue tomorrow.
What did you get for a trouble? This is like 40 what? Yes, Destiny. Destiny, you just think more than
It's not even like the real 90%.
Okay, what? Yeah, they're still talking. My dad asked me if I wanted to go home.
This is
He's a good guy. I love him. I'm eating his chips. We're eating his chips. So hungry. My dad brought me some food I needed. We have full sugar. It's making my appetite. No, I'm leaving.
Good thing it's Christmas time and we can sharpen our candy canes and stab them.
Oh, my dad made a special trip just to cases. I bet we do. I will tell him to shut up. Like,
Don't do that, you're just gonna make him watch.
I already did tell him to shut up. I already did yell at him to shut
It's not
up.
funny, don't make him mad. Like, if he's saying
No,
that
literally-
stuff, he's obviously insane.
no, he literally says that stuff all the time. Like, he's like, there's voices in my head telling me to hurt people.
Yeah, he said that in the middle of stuff.
That's not funny.
She went and said something to him, like, to
That is literally not funny.
No, literally nothing was done.
Mitchell.
I remember when Fred went to threatened to kill me. I was just calling
I know you're mad at Fred, but
and I didn't know it was Fred. And so I called him Papa.
I don't even let strangers in my car.
So was I,
Who
Fred.
are you? What's your name? What's that on?
He did that the first time.
You
When I was sitting by the window. What do you mean? He's a terrorist for everybody. I had to.
No.
I did. Brody, send that boy. Y'all back that goal. Why, it's still in session?
I was pushing both of you. Not even gonna lie. I was going to hit both of you.
Lisa and Kevin, this shit did enough for
She was on the phone, like, this morning when I walked by and she looked super scared. I was like,
I knew that. That's what was gonna happen.
But they came.
Yeah, I got phone last night. Seriously, I thought I was gonna get killed.
Oh, it's all your
why
fault.
did you get a
It's all your fault.
Someone called my dad and I to kill you.
When I was walking to school, I saw Mr. Hanks locally, and I was so scared when I called the cops.
What?
When I was walking to school, Mr. Hanks locally, and I was
It's all your fault.
Thank you.
I thought you said shit when you were building.
I was like, oh,
It's all my fault.
there's still
Yeah.
phone. I was like, where are you?